Imagine this. You sit down, hit play, and your living room instantly feels faster, smoother, and smarter, like your TV just learned a new trick overnight. That's the vibe around Apple TV 4K going into 2025. The leaks are stacking up, the rumors are getting louder, and if Apple flips even a couple of these switches, your streaming box might become the sleeper upgrade of the year. Stay with me to the end, because I'll tell you who should buy now, who should wait, and the single tiny change that could save you hours of frustration without touching the picture quality at all. Before we talk leaks, here's what Apple has already planted as breadcrumbs. With tvOS 18, Apple leaned hard into quality of life features, insight for Apple TV Plus shows so you know who's on screen and what song is playing, enhanced dialogue that lifts voices out of the soundtrack so you stop writing the volume, smart subtitles that pop up when you rewind or mute, and 21.9 support for projectors. Continuity camera still lets your iPhone become your TV's camera for FaceTime and Zoom. Translation: Apple is building the foundation for a more cinematic, more social living room. Which is exactly why 2025 is interesting. This is the year the hardware can finally catch up to the software. Let's start with power. The most repeated rumor points to a jump from the A15 chip to A16 Bionic. It sounds boring until you feel it. Faster CPU, stronger GPU, and better machine learning means everything you do on Apple TV gets snappier. Apps launch quicker. Switching between a game and Netflix feels instant. Upscaling is cleaner, voice features like enhanced dialogue get smarter, and Apple Arcade titles can push more effects without stutter. It also buys you years of support. Apple TV boxes age well because Apple controls both silicon and software. A16 would extend that runway. Some whispers even float A17 for a later in 2025 revision, but A16 is the realistic high-confidence call. Now, the unsung hero of streaming Wi-Fi. Expect talk of Wi-Fi 6E, and a long-shot possibility of Wi-Fi 7 if Apple releases late in the year. Here's why you should care. Wi-Fi 6E opens a clean 6 GHz lane, which means less congestion from your neighbors, lower latency for gaming, and more reliable 4K HDR streaming in apartments and busy homes. If you've ever watched your bitrate tank on a Friday night because everyone in your building jumped online, 6E is the antidote. Wi-Fi 7 would push that even further with higher throughput and better stability for multiple devices, but most routers and TVs aren't there yet. Translation: 6E is the upgrade you'll feel immediately, 7 is the future-proof bonus if Apple decides to go big. Smart home fans, this one's for you. The 2022 Apple TV 4K with Ethernet doubled as a Thread border router, which helps connect low-power devices like sensors and bulbs. The rumor for 2025 is simple but powerful: broader Thread support across the lineup and improved Matter reliability. In real life, that means your lights respond faster, your sensors stop playing hide-and-seek, and automations trigger consistently. Imagine telling Siri movie time, and your lights dim, shades lower, and TV switches to your favorite streamer in a heartbeat, with zero drama. That's the quiet kind of upgrade that makes a house feel modern every day. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. 4K at 120 Hz, VRR, and ALLM. Your TV likely supports it. Your PlayStation and Xbox use it. The Apple TV has had HDMI 2.1 hardware for years, but Apple hasn't flipped the 120 Hz switch for output. Could 2025 be the year? It's plausible. Here's the case. Apple Arcade keeps gaining console-style games. Apple has first-class controller support. Many living rooms already have 120 Hz TVs. And a 120 Hz UI isn't just about gaming. It makes navigation feel impossibly fluid. Variable refresh rate smooths out frame drops, and auto low latency mode gets you into game mode automatically. Will Apple do it? No one can promise it until Apple announces, but if they want to make Apple TV feel new without changing the design, enabling 4K 120 and VRR is the cleanest flex they've got. Now the sleeper rumor, the one that could quietly change your daily life more than any spec sheet. A new Siri remote with Find My, potentially using ultra-wideband. If you've ever torn apart your couch to find the remote, you know this is the real pain point. The current remote is USB-C and solid, but it doesn't have precision Find My. The rumored upgrade would let your iPhone point you directly to the remote with an on-screen arrow and distance, and possibly even ping a tiny built-in speaker so it can chirp from inside the cushions. There's also chatter about better microphones for voice, maybe even backlit buttons so you can see them in the dark. It's small, it's sensible, and it's the kind of Apple move that feels obvious once you have it. What about the camera story? Reports have circled for years that Apple prototyped a living room hub that merges Apple TV, a HomePod-class speaker, and a camera. Think FaceTime on your TV without needing your phone, center stage auto framing for group calls, and room-filling audio from the same box. Will that all-in-one actually ship in 2025? Unclear. The more conservative bet is a regular Apple TV box paired with continuity camera getting smarter, better framing, faster setup, and tighter integration with Apple TV Plus features like Insight for sports and live shows. But don't sleep on the hub idea. It keeps resurfacing for a reason, and it fits Apple's home as a platform strategy perfectly. Storage is another quiet upgrade that could matter more than you expect. Today's options top out quickly once you download a few Apple Arcade titles, some large apps, and cache a chunk of Dolby Vision streams. A bump to 128 or even 256 gigabytes has been floated, and it would give developers room to build bigger games and richer experiences. That pairs nicely with the A16 rumor. More headroom plus more horsepower equals fewer compromises, and price, because this is where Apple can shock the competition. Analysts have long predicted Apple would chase a sub-$100 entry point. It hasn't happened yet, but if Apple wants to put Apple TV in more rooms and strengthen the Apple TV Plus and arcade ecosystems, a $99 model with strong Wi-Fi and a modest chip, plus a higher-end model for gamers and home theater fans makes strategic sense. The safer bet is Apple holds the current pricing and sweetens the specs. Watch for bundles, too. Apple loves pairing services with hardware for value without cutting the sticker price. When could you actually see it? Apple's playbook points to two windows, spring and fall. A spring release can arrive via press release with review units a week later. A fall drop can hitch a ride alongside iPhone or iPad news. The best early clues aren't glamorous. New Apple TV identifiers hidden in tvOS betas, Bluetooth SIG or FCC filings, and credible reports from outlets like Bloomberg, McRumors, and 9to5Mac. If we start seeing code names pop up in betas, the clock starts ticking. Now, should you buy now or wait? If you want a rock-solid 4K HDR streamer today, the current Apple TV 4K is fast, polished, and often discounted. For most people, it's an easy yes, and tvOS keeps getting smarter regardless of hardware. But if any of these specific upgrades matter to you, Wi-Fi 6E for crowded networks, 4K 120 and VRR for gaming and ultra-smooth navigation, a UWB Find My Remote so you stop losing it, or expanded thread for a smarter smart home, it's worth waiting and watching the rumor mill through the next announcement window. The potential upside is real this cycle. Quick reality check before we land this plane. None of this is official until Apple says it is. But these aren't wild fantasies. They're logical moves that line up with Apple's own software roadmap, with where TV hardware has gone, and with the leaks and reporting that have a decent track record. Faster chip? Check. Better wireless? Check. Smart home refinements? Check. A remote you can actually find? Please, here's how I'd play it. If your current setup is fine and you're curious about the new stuff, give it a little time. Watch for A16, Wi-Fi 6E, and that remote. The moment those three show up together, you're looking at a meaningful upgrade. If your Apple TV or streamer is struggling, or you're setting up a new home theater now, grab the current box while it's on sale and enjoy the tvOS features Apple's already shipped. You won't feel shortchanged, and you can always move it to a bedroom later if the 2025 model turns out to be the one. Last thing, tell me what matters most to you. 120Hz gaming, a smarter remote, better Wi-Fi, or a true all-in-one hub with a camera and great speakers? Because if Apple nails even two of those, the humble little box under your TV might be the most satisfying upgrade you make next year, and the one your guests can't stop asking about when they visit.